you probably won't get attacked by a pack of wild dogs. You know, it's swings and roundabouts here because I wore that hat in the desert. But anyway, I don't have a gun on me, and I haven't entrapped any slaves, and I haven't conquered any lands or claimed them as my own. So I'm doing a bit better. Wow, that was a real problem. Hello, welcome back to our travelling series, the Backseat Positivity travelling saga. It's not that the series is travelling. I am travelling. I can't believe at this moment that this is going to go live, I'm going to be in Asia, theoretically. And I can't believe I'm being this organised, to be quite honest. I'm like, right, let's sort my life out in advance, because I thought, I could take a microphone to Asia with me, but I'm not going to want a podcast, no offence. Anyway, today I should probably come up with a better intro. Like, some people start and they go, what's up guys, today we're talking about physical health whilst travelling and how you can maintain your health and shit. And I'm just like, I just chat shit basically. But I do say it after. I say, hello, here we are, we're talking about physical health whilst travelling. And so basically I've done a lot of travelling. I mentioned in the last episode, we don't need to go on about it again, do we? And I've had a lot of, I don't want to say a lot, but I've encountered a lot of the physical problems, or I've also worked as a doctor abroad, so I've come across a lot of the physical problems of being abroad. Now what we're talking about here is like, I'm not going to go into like an in-depth analysis of how to treat medical conditions abroad. Like, I'm just talking about how to keep yourself well. Like, if you're going on a massive trek across the jungle, like, please go with somebody that actually knows what they're doing. Or if you're going to go climb like a massive mountain that's like high altitude or whatever, this is not one of those episodes, okay? I mean, I could do that, but like, I don't think that's the vibe. So this is mainly just like, if you're going backpacking and you're going on your gap year, or you're just, pottering about the world and you want some advice on how to stay well, how does Dawn stay well? Well, I'm going to tell you. So, where do we start? I guess let's talk about, okay, right, so what are we going to cover? Let's talk about that, because everyone wants to know. We're going to talk about how to keep exercising, how to keep fit, because it can be, I would say it's tricky when you're like abroad, when you're in a different country, but I have just about managed it. I'm going to talk about some medications that I'm going to take travelling, like literally pertinent, must take these. I will not go anywhere without them kind of thing. And we're also going to talk about bowels. Yeah, bowels and bladder. They're very important, okay? Your gut health and your hydration levels. And we're also going to talk about food and water. The bare necessities of life, quite literally. So, I guess let's start with exercise. I was planning this episode and I originally I just had exercise, bowels and food. And then, wait, did I even have food on there? Yeah, I did. I had constipation. That was what it was. Bowels, exercise, water, and that was it. And then it just expanded. It just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was like, oh, okay, this is getting kind of out of control. So I have tried to rein it in a bit, because, I mean, you could talk for blooming hours. Well, I could. One could talk for hours about maintaining your physical health whilst abroad. So, yeah, let's talk about exercise. Now, whenever I travel, I probably clock in, I would say close to like, depending on where I am, maybe anywhere from like 15 to 30,000 steps a day, which is like nothing compared to what I do here whilst I'm in my homeland is nothing compared to what I do when I'm traveling. Like, I am up and about, I'm on my feet, I'm walking. But like, usually when I go abroad, I will explore. I love to explore places. You're pretty much, you don't want to spend loads of money, and you don't have your own car often, or like, when you're in your like home, you have your own car, you have a bike, you have, ways of traveling, or you can ask someone for a lift that you know. When you're abroad, you don't have any of that, so you have to sort of use your little bipedal modation. That is not even a sentence, but bipedal is 2 feet, both feet, yeah. So you got to use your little peggies, you got to use your little feet, and you got to walk around. Or, there are, depending on which country you're in, some places are just nice to walk around. Let's say Amsterdam. I've been there, I've walked around there a lot. Some places you have to walk around. Festivals, you can't do anything else but walk. When I was at Glastonbury, I walked 10 miles a day. Like, it was insane. Where else? I mean, Amsterdam, you can also use a bike. That's like a really common way of getting around, and it's nice and flat, so ideal. The problem is where I live now is like I live in basically a valley. Bristol is like a valley with a gorge like right in the middle. So it's pretty hilly. And it slopes all the way down to the river. So it's quite nice going other places where, I went to Germany and it was basically like as flat as a pancake. It was so flat. And yeah, when I've been in Asia, you can get something called grab bikes. I remember getting those, which is basically like an Uber, but it's a motorbike or a moped. So you basically contact them, they pick you up, you sit on the back of their bike, and then you zoom off into the distance. Sometimes they'll fit 2 of you on there, and they're fine with that. It's pretty YOLO out there. But yeah, probably the biggest mode of exercise for me is walking. I love a good walk. Like, where did I go? Edinburgh. I walked quite a lot there as well. Not as much. The weather wasn't great. When the weather's nice and I've got, not got loads to do. I think the problem was the weather it was so cold. Like, I would just get really cold and I would have to like seek the indoors. So walking is a really good way. And it's a good way to like go and see the sights. Now, I'm going to talk about the free, like no money ways of exercising. You could go for a run, although I did speak to somebody the other day who said that they went for a run on a beach somewhere abroad and then they got like nearly attacked by a pack of wild dogs. So I was slightly less keen on that option after I found that out. And they were going on like a nice beach run and then these like wild dogs started like barking and I was like, okay, sounds terrifying. But, if you're with somebody who would also like to go for a run, that might be a good option. But also, you probably won't get attacked by a pack of wild dogs. It's swings and roundabouts here. The other things I've done is volleyball. There's often, when you go abroad and there's like, you're on a beach, right? And there's often a volleyball court. I don't know where these come from or what happens, but I've seen a few of them and they've been free often. So I've played volleyball and that's always really fun. Although I did play it with a knee injury and jumping around in the sand is not good for a knee injury. It's like the most unstable surface apart from maybe like lava that you can think of. And I wouldn't recommend doing volleyball on lava. And a lot of these foreign places, countries abroad, because their weather's so nice, like Asian countries in particular, they've often got these like outdoor parks, and we have them in the UK, but like it's way less common. And basically you basically see loads of old people there, but you can go and use that. They've got like chest press and like bikes that you can sit on that are like stationary. And they've got those cross trainer things, and they've got all sorts. I don't know. Basically stuff like that. It's not a lot of weight. I'm not gonna lie. You might want to. Oh, they've got pull-up bars. You're not gonna be building big muscles there. But I mean, you could do some calisthenics, and that's pretty hard work. I'm not gonna lie. Your body weight is quite a lot, so just make things harder. If you want to do press ups and you're like, well, I usually do it with a weight on my back, then do it with your feet up in the air and that would be harder. Or I used to squat my friend because I wouldn't have like a weight, so I would put my friend, who was about, I don't know, maybe 60 kilos on my back, and I would squat her. And some places they had like random weights that you could use, like a dumbbell. That's not an outdoor park. That was actually at like a what would you even call that place? Like a retreat kind of place in Vietnam. They had like one random weight that was filled with sand. You can also use sand. Sand is really heavy, especially if it's wet, or rocks, as long as you don't throw them at people. Then they can be used like for squats or for pushing. Don't drop it on your head. You know, it's not stable, and I accept no liability if you do drop a rock on your head, because, you know, you need to make sure that you can hold that shit. But, you know, heavy things like that are really good ways of like upping the ante a little bit, but also not trying to find a gym. Outdoor yoga is also a really common thing when you're, especially in Asia. I'm actually going to a yoga retreat, my first ever one. It's near Bali, but it's not Bali, it's like Gili Islands, and it sounds super nice. Oh, can't wait. There's 5 to 7 yoga sessions a day, which are included. Then your food's included. There's a pool, there's a beach. Woo! Amazing. I cannot wait. And it's like so cheap as well, everything included, for like, what was it? I mean, for 3 days, it was like 120 quid. So 40 quid a day, which I know doesn't equate to nights, but it was pretty good. So volleyball, the outdoor parks, yoga, run, walking, all free. Then you've got some paid ones. Now, I have done paid exercise whilst abroad. I have paid for it. I would recommend, by the way, exercising either in the morning or the like evening, because you don't want to do it in the midday when it's like boiling hot, because you will get sunstroke / dehydrate or whatever. Maybe not sunstroke, heat exhaustion, I should call it, because sunstroke is actually a medical emergency, but, you know, semantics. So, yeah, I have paid to go to the gym. Now, that's quite nice. Sometimes you get aircon, perfect. But I have gone to like CrossFit gyms, you don't get aircon. But I tell you what, when I went to Vietnam, there was this like, I don't know if she was Vietnamese, but she was Asian. I don't know where she was from. It was in Vietnam though, I believe, or maybe it was Singapore, or anyway, it was somewhere around there. And she was like, when I was actually a weightlifter, so I was like lifting pretty good weights, you know, she was watching me and she was like clapping, and the whole class were like watching, and she was sat in front of me like, wah! And it was crazy. I was like, okay. I mean, I felt like a celebrity, but, you know, it went quickly. She was like, wow, you're so strong. And I was like, yeah, I am a weightlifter, so, you know, it's to be expected. But a lot of people used to have that when I would go to a new gym. They'd be like, oh my God, she can lift so much. And I'd be like, yes, I do it competitively. So, yeah, it was always a shock for people. Anyway, that was the funniest experience, was when that Asian woman was like clapping. So, and then you can go to like classes as well. I kind of love a class. I love a gym class. I went off them for a bit and now I'm well back into them. Do you know why? Because when I exercise, I don't want to have to think. I just want to have to do. I want my body to do the work. I don't want my mind to have to think. I just zone out, and I just do what I'm told. And it's quite nice. I don't do what I'm told often. So it's nice just to like, you know, turn off my brain and just go, okay, he's telling me to run. I run. He's telling me to lift. I lift. He tell me to punch. I punch. You know, it's just nice. So classes are like, you know, when you want like a really short, intense burst of like, right, I'm going to get this fucking workout done in an hour, half an hour, whatever. When you want something that's like muscle building, like, you know, bit more like sculpting, that's when I do it on my own. I don't tend to do like cardio shit on my own, because I need the crowd, you know. I need some like a hype man. I basically need the instructor. Like, I don't need them, but I like it a lot. So, and also I don't want to have to think like, okay, how many minutes is that? Like, I want someone to just go, right, that's the minute over, on to the next thing. So they are expensive, and like you will have to budget that in, and if you're not really into the gym, then might not be your vibe at all. But Oh my god, I just realised I'm halfway through and I am not even... I might have to split this into two, guys. I'm not even, like, through one section yet. It might be a two-parter. Yeah, so if you're not really into exercise, then that might not be the thing for you. I mean, I would say the classes or a guest pass are like £10 and actually sometimes cheaper if you're in a cheap country. So, you know, it can be worth it if you know what you want to go and do, or if you're like, yeah, I really want to like bust some shit right now. And I tell you what, it really resets you, you know, when you're feeling shit, or you're like away from home and you're, you know, maybe not eating the same diet, you're not drinking what you normally would, and you're not in your usual bed and you're sort of traveling around. I tell you what, it's a real morale boost. I tell you, like, honestly, go and do an exercise session. It only has to be maximum an hour. You don't have to go for longer, especially if you're doing a class, you know, because they are intense. So you do, you know, 45 minutes even. Just get it done and then it's over and done with. And I get it. It's like a hard way to, you know, in your mind, you're like, oh God, half an hour. Oh God, 45 minutes. Oh God, an hour. But if you just zone out of that, it's done. Okay, I don't know whether to do bowels or medications next. I feel like medications would fit better. Oh fuck. And then maybe the next episode I'll do food, water, and bowels, because they kind of go together, right? So medications, I'm like a walking pharmacy when I go abroad. And then there's pharmacies everywhere, but you never really know what you're getting. I tell you what though, when you go abroad and you go to a pharmacy, like, you can get things that you would never have dreamt of getting in the UK. So that is, if you want to go stock up your supplies, that is the place to do it. You can they just willy-nilly give you antibiotics. I said I had a UTI when I was in Crete or whatever. Crete. And they were like, oh, I feel like my podcast problem used to be the fact that I would run out of battery. And now my podcast problem is the fact that my nose is just such a fucking problematic hoe. So I will fix that eventually. Maybe I need to do a nose spray before I start or something, but then it ends up dribbling out. I don't know. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I went to Crete and they were like, you'll have STI. And I was like, that was like a weird Asian accent. I don't know what went on there. But I was like, no, this is my boyfriend. And because I had a boyfriend at the time, a different boyfriend. And they were like, here you go. And they gave me cranberry tablets as well. I tell you what, I didn't take the antibiotics. I honestly don't remember what they were. I didn't take them because I was like, no, thanks. Well, I bought them, but I didn't actually take them in the end because it got better with just taking the cranberry tablets, and I was drinking cranberry juice during the day. I obviously only had like cystitis, but it was like really painful. But I managed to cure it on my own. So, as in without antibiotics, I mean. I don't take antibiotics when I'm going travelling. I don't feel like it's necessary. You can, you know, just get some good medical travel insurance, well, just travel insurance. And then, you know, if you do get something like traveller's diarrhea or, I don't know, what else would you get? I don't know, like a chest infection, but I'm mainly talking about people that are like my age that probably aren't going to get chest infections, but, you know, then you can go to a clinic over there. Or if you run out of your medications or if you lose them, I feel like if you lose them, that's more acceptable. Like if you run out, like what are you doing? Like how have you done that? Like go abroad with your regular medications with double the amount of time that you're expecting to go there for. Don't be going with like exactly the right amount, because you know you get delays, and some medications it doesn't necessarily matter for, but some medications, like, you can't be missing days. Insulin, if you need insulin, like, and you're a type 1 diabetic, you can't not have insulin. So, you know, either get some good medical insurance definitely get good medical insurance if you're going abroad and you're diabetic, especially type 1. So I would say before you go, like everyone knows to go and get their vaccinations. I'm quite lucky in the fact that I work at, well, not lucky, it's one of the benefits of working at a hospital is that I am vaccinated for everything. And, you know, I'm like fully packaged, ready to go. Hep A, Hep B, I think. Hep B. What are the other vaccinations? TB, vaccinated. All the normal ones. COVID, flu. No, not flu, actually. That would probably run out. COVID, then that might have run out too, actually. Anyway, diphtheria, polio, tetanus, rubella. Anyway, I don't need to list all of the... Oh! Oh, no. Don't come in. We had small disaster. Christ almighty. I was just gone for probably about 5 minutes there. Like, I just knocked over a whole thing of water. I think it's a bit top heavy, that thing. And, oh, Christ, that was a big explosion. Anyway, that's kind of funny. There are towels on the floor. Hopefully I'll soak most of it up. What a pain in the arse. It went all over the monitor. It went a little bit on my computer, but yeah. Woo. Okay, where even was I? I honestly can't remember because I was talking about vaccinations. Yeah, I think so. Okay, yeah. Wow, that was a real problem. Okay. So the issue was I was kind of leaning that against my iPad against the water. I think that's what tipped it over in the end. Although it was fine for like ages and then it just went bang. I don't know. Anyway, so vaccinations, make sure you get them. I am actually going to have to get malaria tablets this time. I've never had to take them before, but this time I will because I will probably be going to a malaria prone area. Malaria prone area. It's kind of annoying. I have to pay for it. It's private, but because they don't cover it on the NHS. But if I get malaria and come back to the UK, that will be treated. So it's like, okay, but fine. People will end up like paying it. So I don't think it's that expensive, actually. I think I'm just going to get the cheap one, which was like 20p a day. So I think I can afford that. Anyway, okay. Talking about malaria, try and avoid getting bitten by mosquitoes. So mosquitoes are fine to be bitten by as long as that you're not in a malaria prone area. Malaria prone area. What a name. So the issue is when you get bitten in a malaria zone is that you've got a higher chance of getting malaria. It's not like 100%, but you could probably get it. And when you're in, you know, you can get bitten in non-malaria areas and you'll be fine, probably. You know, the risk is very low. So, yeah. I've already mentioned regular medication. Okay, anti-sickness medications. I have to take these. These are like must. I always take travel sickness tablets. I take a fucking stock of them because when you're traveling, you're going on like horrible bus rides and trains and you are literally traveling and you're going on boats. Like I never go on boats, but I get horrendously travel sick. So I take the maximum dose I can. I take 2 kinds. I take Sonarazine, which is brand name Stugeron. I think it's 2 you can have. So I take the maximum dose. They make you a bit tired, but I'm like, it's fine. The sickness will keep me awake. And then I take, the other one is hyoscine butyl bromide. It's another anti-sickness. Use it in cancer, actually, quite more commonly, I would say, for me. But I've got the 2 types. That one's under Quells is the brand name. So I take both, and then I'm like double covered. I don't really know if that's okay, so I'm not recommending that as advice, but that's what I do. By the way, this is just how I maintain my physical health whilst I'm traveling. Like, you don't have to do it. It's not, you know, necessarily advice. It's just like, this is what I do. So you can listen if you want. Regular medications take double the amount of time. If you're going for 2 weeks, take 4 weeks. I know it sounds a lot, but you don't want to be, you know, there might be like a hurricane or a volcano eruption or I don't know, some kind of airport issue, something like that. I have been delayed in Gibraltar before because they wouldn't take off. The planes wouldn't take off. So, yeah. Next is reflux. Oh, the biggest bane of my life, especially at the moment because I'm on Wegovy, and also when you're over 25, that's when the reflux hits. I don't take the bottle because it's really heavy and it's a liquid. I take the tablets, and I've learnt my lesson many times by not taking them and fucking up. So I try to take like a couple of packs of them. I know it sounds excessive, but honestly, like, you need it. You can also use Rennies. I personally find the Gaviscon tablets much better and they taste better. So I also take a Meprazole with me, which you can get over the counter as an esomeprazole. I don't know why you can't buy actual Meprazole over the counter. Who knows? And that's under the brand name like Nexium, or I can't think of any more. I think Gaviscon might sell some actually. And also, you can just go to the pharmacist and ask them for it, omeprazole or esomeprazole. And also, I get it personally prescribed because I asked, because I was like, I'm getting really bad reflux from my semaglutide, which is Wegovy. Please help me. And they did. That was nice. You can also take things like, personally, I'm taking supplements with me. I'm going to take my collagen supplements and my my omega-3, just because I feel better. I know it sounds really sad, but I feel better when I take my omega-3 in particular. So I find that when I stop it, especially if I'm going for a month, like I don't feel as good. So I like to take it, I like to feel limber and supple. And Imodium. Now this is a controversial one. This is basically something that stops you from pooing if you get diarrhea. Now, if you've got infective diarrhea, you don't want to be taking Imodium. That's the problem. If you've got fever or you've got bloody diarrhea, then don't take Imodium. The issue is, it probably says it on the back of the packet, but I don't think people realise, if you're not shitting it out, your body is basically saying, no, I need to get rid of this. It's got an infection in it. Let's get rid of it. So if you just go, no body, you're keeping it in. You're keeping in your diarrhea that has E. coli in it. Like, you have E. coli in your bowels, but like the bad kind, that's what happened. It slid down. Let's just hold it. Let's hold it. Hold the iPad. Then you end up you can get like sepsis, and it's a bad time. So don't take Imodium necessarily if you have diarrhea and it's like, oh, did I eat something funny? No, you want that to get out of your system. I know it's unpleasant, but just ride the course, unfortunately. Creams. I will take a few creams with me. Number 1, sun cream, obvious. Number 2, I don't take after sun, but that's because I'm really good at putting sun cream on. Moisturizer, especially for your face. You can get because you get so much like sun exposure. And I also take a hat. Tom said I look like a colonialist traveller. I'm going to get a picture of that up, just so you know what I'm talking about, because colonial traveller. It's a little bit of a controversial thing to say, but I can't find the picture he sent me. Here it is. Okay, I found it on WhatsApp. That's the colonial traveller, and that's me. I know I shouldn't compare myself to a colonial traveller because they did horrible things, but it's very true. I didn't mean to look like that. It just happened, and that's because I wore that hat in the desert. But anyway, I don't have a gun on me, and I haven't entrapped any slaves, so I haven't conquered any lands or claimed them as my own. So I'm doing a bit better, a lot better. It's a touchy subject, isn't it? Maybe I shouldn't have even brought it up. Anyway, creams, Sudocrem vibes. If you get nappy rash, no, basically if you get chafe, ooh, baby boy, is that going to be good for you? Some Sudocrem, or it's again, I don't want to, this is what I do, okay, that's going to be good for me. I put, especially in between my legs, if I get chafing, I put the Sudocrem in between. like on the chafe, like overnight. I don't leave it like long term. And then, oh my god, I haven't told you my next trick to prevent chafing. So the reason you chafe is because of moisture, right? So if you put deodorant, roll on deodorant in between your legs, and there you go. Bob's your uncle. Slip and slide as you please. Creams can come true. Creams can come true. I'm trying to think of what other creams I take. I definitely take moisturizer. I take a face cream. I take deodorant, obviously. I take pseudocreme. You can take After Sun if you want. But you can generally buy that abroad, I would say. Like, you don't need to take everything. Remember, you're not going into the jungle. Like, there will be stuff available. You know, there's lots of pharmacies all across the world because it's big business, big buckies. And laxatives I've written. Oh my god. I'll talk about this next time, I think, on my next, the part 2 of this, because I didn't realise this was going to be so long. I will talk about my laxatives that I take. So, yes, I do take laxatives with me. All right, well, I hope that's been somewhat useful and informative and fun, and you don't mind my interim disaster in the middle. I'll just cut it out. It's like it never happened. I haven't got water on my floor. Who said I have water on my floor? Anyway, guys, I might have a nap before work. I don't know if that's going to happen, actually. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, listening. I will see you in the next episode. Wish me luck whilst I'm travelling around the world. And if you like to, give it a like, subscribe, follow, give it 5-star rating, comment, whatever you fancy. Or just leave. You could just leave and just pretend like I didn't give you exceptionally fun content for, 35 minutes of your life. Maybe a bit less. But that would be real sad. So I'd love it if you, did something. Just click, click. Okay, anyway, shut up, Dawn. Bye. I didn't give you a kiss last time, I realised. Bye. You got 2 that time.